All right, we're in Paris, Tennessee for day 2 of practice for stop number 5 of the Walmart FLW Tour. This is Kentucky Lake, and one guy who knows how to catch him here for sure is Michael Wooley. Michael, you are an offshore stick. You love the ledge season. I gotta know though, are you liking the way things are setting up so far?
Yeah, I'm really liking the way it's all setting up. We got a lot of schools out there right now, and they're not as big of schools that I would like, that we normally have for this time of the year in 1st of June, but there's still quite a few fish out right now.
Well, what are some of the key factors that you kind of are keeping an eye on right now? I'm assuming current is important, but anything else that you're kind of eyeballing how this is going to really shake out?
You know, the current's really been the factor making them bite good. I mean, if we're not really getting any currents at the evening times, which is really hurting us during tournament because it's usually turning on after 3 o'clock, but you know, when that turns on, they bite really good. If it's not on, you kind of just got to slow down and
you can't get them to bite though if it's not running?
Yeah, you can get them to bite if it's not running.
You just got to go to the less fun finesse stuff, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you got to slow down a lot. So.
Okay. What about angling pressure? I mean, have you seen a lot of other pros on the stuff that you've been stopping on?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us are fishing a lot of the same schools. Yeah, I got a few that I think are a little off the beaten path, but for the most part, it's getting a lot of pressure out there. We had a lot of weekend pressure yesterday. It was hard to look at a lot of things, all the boats out there. So. Sure,
I understand. Well, I assume in a tournament like this, you kind of want to spend some time trying to find that off-the-wall thing. I mean, we've seen last time we were here, it was one from a single spot. It was kind of a little bit off the wall. How much have you gotten to do that so far, or have you really been running waypoints and old stuff?
I mean, I've been spending about half my days each day, the past 2 days, just trying to find that new spot that I haven't found here. But I've spent so much time on this lake, it's hard to find something new. And
sure.
So, but I haven't found that spot yet. But I still found a lot of schools.
Keep hunting for it.
So.
I got you. Well, are we going to see big baits in play this week? The big 10XDs, the big striking spoons, the big swim baits, and all that good stuff? Or you think it's going to be a drag fest with jigs, worms, that kind of thing?
I think you're going to see a little bit of everything. I think you're going to see the big swim baits, the big spoons, your worms. It's going to be. You'd be surprised. It's going to turn out to be a big kind of a slugfest, I believe.
Gotcha. Well, even if it does turn into a drag fest, if you will, we know you know how to catch them that way. Last year at Chickamauga, about this time of year, Michael Wooley was your champion, dragging a big worm on a big jig head. So he can get it done no matter how we end up finding them out there. Well, the Kentucky Lake Hammers keep rolling in here. I've got a guy who probably ought to be on your fantasy team right now, Jason Lambert. And Jason, every time we come to the Tennessee River, you tell me how good your day's been by showing me the battle scars on your hand. So how chewed up is your hand right now?
Well, it's not as chewed up as I would like. Of course, we're doing a lot more idling and looking and fishing, but you know, there's a few fish to be caught. It's not Kentucky Lake like we know Kentucky Lake is just yet. It's we've had such a weird spring. It just hasn't gotten hot, and now it's finally, just the last few days, it's starting to really warm up, and there's some fish showing up. The problem is right now there's not a great number of fish, and there's a great number of people looking at the ones that are out there. So it should. I mean, it's progressing. So hopefully by Thursday, you know, whoever can make the weekend, I think, can have a real good couple days.
How do you spend your practice in a situation like this? Are you running your old waypoints? I mean, you've got to have tons of them out there, or do you want to spend your practice looking for new stuff?
Well, it's probably half and half. I mean, if I go buy something where I've caught them in the past, you know, I'll stop and roll through, see if they're there. I mean, probably 75% or more of the places that or probably 90% of the places that I'll look at during practice, there's really no need to fish them. I mean, you can't weigh those fish in today or tomorrow. It's Thursday that matters. So, I mean, 13 hours on the water today, and I probably fished 45 minutes out of that time, and
worked on them a little bit, maybe.
Maybe a couple places where nobody around watching, you might stretch on them a little, but it makes for long days idling. But you know, iPod and Eric Church can get you through a lot.
There you go. That's the secret you got to have. Well, yesterday we filmed up at the dam where you guys are putting in, and today we're down in Paris. I mean, by car it's maybe 45 minutes or an hour. Good little ways by water, but it seems like a lot of anglers in the tournament have put in here today. Have you started to figure out what section of the lake you want to be in the tournament, or are you going to be running stuff from one end to the other?
Well, I'm probably going to fish stuff from one end to the other. Troy Morrow and I this afternoon we're sitting talking for a moment, and we were discussing mileages, and and I think my furthest point away from the dam is going to be about 85 miles. So, but I mean, that's the thing that you got to do Thursday and Friday, because come Saturday, Sunday, you go way south, and there's a lot of local tournaments. There's a huge local tournament.
I heard about that. Yeah.
This weekend, like a 200 boat tournament Saturday.
In Johnsonville.
Yeah. So that's going to really, you know, narrow down where you can fish. So, you know, Thursday and Friday are going to be key. I mean, that's the 2 days that you're going to have to catch them, and it's, you know, whoever makes the weekend and dwindles our field down, the guys on Sunday are going to have a whole lot of fun. This lake is about to explode. It's coming fast.
Looking at the weather forecast real quick, I know there's some warm weather coming. I mean, how fast will that push the rest of those fish out that you guys are waiting on?
Well, there's the deal with Kentucky Lake is there's so many little schools of fish right now, and it's, you know, it's 5 fish here, 4 fish there, 6 fish there. What happens when it heats up? I mean, all those fish want to get to that comfortable depth. So once it gets hot, those 4, 5, 6 fish schools turn into 100 fish schools somewhere. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, it may not happen this week, but I promise you over the next couple of weeks, this place is going to be real fun to fish.
Very cool. Well, I got my fingers crossed it will happen this week. I want to see some big stringers brought in. And I know your style of fishing. I've watched you out here before, running, gunning, looking at those schools, moving on if they're not right, fishing from one end of the lake to the other. It's a really intense way to fish, but it's paid off for you in the past, and probably a pretty good chance it's going to pay off for you again this week.
I hope so. You know, you never know with these tournaments. I mean, at Pickwick last time, I mean, Tuesday afternoon, if you'd asked me, I thought it would have been a whole lot better. And of course, the weather had a big factor on that on Thursday. But you know, here it's got an opportunity to be a real good tournament. So we'll see what happens.
Very good. Well, you heard it from one of the hammers. There's a bunch of them in this tournament this week. Somebody's going to bust it wide open. Just caught up with Bryan Thrift, guy who catches them, in Chris Jones's words, everywhere in the country. And Bryan, just a few seconds ago, I think I counted 96 or 97 rods on your front deck. You couldn't even get your rod strapped down, you had so many. What aren't you throwing at them this week?
I've thrown everything I can think of, and I don't think it's a problem of not having something to throw at. I think it's a place to throw at.
All right. I saw some secret baits. I'm not going to ask you about them. You already swore me to secrecy on those. But what have you been up to in practice? You seem a little stumped right now.
I'm definitely stumped. I mean, I haven't been able to figure out exactly what the fish are doing. They seem like they're kind of just scattered here and there and doing a little bit of everything. I've caught some shallow, caught some deep, caught some offshore shallow, offshore deep fish. I mean, it's just here and there, but I haven't been able to find that one giant school of fish that you could set on and have potential to have a good tournament.
Well, you're pretty good at scrapping together and kind of getting one here, one there, and in a tournament. Obviously, you won one this year, kind of doing that. How much of the lake have you seen so far then, and do you have much left where you kind of have some hopes you might find them?
Yeah, I haven't been down toward the dam yet, and I'm going to go down there tomorrow. I fish pretty much from mid-lake up, so I'm going to try that lower end tomorrow, and hopefully that's got to be where they are. I mean, it's got to be.
Just herd them down that direction. Well, I looked at the standings before we started talking, and I think you're in 40th place.
Yep.
And the top 35 go to the Cup, and I think we only have maybe one double qualify, so we're right around 35th, 36th place. You got to move up a couple.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you want to be there at Wheeler this summer. Every time we have a midsummer tournament, or late summer tournament, I should say, you're in the hunt. Is that weighing on you at all, you think? Or is
Yeah, it's been on my mind a lot this year. I mean, I've had a good year. I mean, as far as the couple of tournaments I've done good in, it's been successful.
You won one.
I mean, yeah, I've won one, made a couple top tens. I mean, money-wise, I've had a good year already. I mean, I've pretty much made as much as I've made in previous years. But there's 4 or 5 really bad tournaments in there too. And that's kind of what's got me so far down in the standings. I haven't been able to stay consistent this year for some reason. I don't know.
Is that a little bit the way you fish though, kind of all or nothing, or you just had a couple where you just couldn't get it put together?
No, I mean, I take pride in being consistent. I mean, trying to, like, I'm not hard-headed. You know, if the fish aren't doing what I want them to be doing, I'm going to go do something else just to try to, you know, stay up there and stay in the hunt. And it just hasn't worked out this year.
Well, what's the plan tomorrow? You said you're going north. Are you going to stick to the idling game, or are you going to try something completely different off the wall? Or
I'm gonna probably do a little bit of both. I mean, at this point in the game, really the only hope I've got is to find that one mega school that you always hear everybody talk about on the Tennessee River. And you know, if I could find one of those and it could be a good tournament. So,
well, obviously you're staying out till dark. You're going to put in the hours tomorrow, and if I know you, you're going to burn a heck of a lot of gas tomorrow to find them. And obviously, you're going to be throwing a little bit of everything at them. I saw it on your boat. So, best of luck to you tomorrow, Bryan, and in this tournament. And I really think that you're a little bit of a sandbagger, and that we're going to see a pretty good finish. And you're going to make that Forest Wood Cup.
Everybody says
this August.
Y'all need to go with me and practice one. You know how you do the little practice deals where you go out with somebody? You need to go out with me one day.
All right.
Get a little taste of it.
You and Andy Morgan, you're both sandbaggers. I just think so.
I swear.
Well, we're going to find out here in a couple days whether he's telling the truth or not.